My greetings to all our viewers. I am Hika Mishra, and today I'm here with a very special guest of our day, Sir Syed Ahmed. So, here we are feeling so honored to sit with you, sir. So, let me first of all introduce you to all our viewers. Probably they might know you, but yet it's my work. So he is Syed Sultan Ahmed, sir. He is also the co-founder and the chief learner of LXL Ideas. He is the mastermind behind School Cinema, and it feels so much honored to sit beside you, to sit with you. And here we are for having a couple of talks, to have some questions, to know about him, about the personality with us. So, yes, sir, good morning, sir, first of all. So, I hope you are loving being to our school, and we are loving being with you right now. So it's truly honorable. So I'm here with a couple of questions. I'm and sir, we are both gonna accompany you during this talk. So shall I begin?
Yes, thank you for the warm welcome and a lovely introduction. And it's a pleasure to be here in your school. You've got a beautiful school. And I think what's really nice about your school is the very warm people that I've met. So thank you for that warmth.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a huge appreciation for all of us. Okay, so my very first question would be very simple. So, what was your best childhood memory that you really do miss right now, or you love thinking about it, remembering it? Is there any?
I grew up in Bangalore. I live in Bangalore, and growing up in Bangalore was a very simple city. It's not the big, massive metropolitan city that it is now. And I have very strong memories of playing hockey on the streets in my house, near my house. Because every school that I knew, everybody played field hockey.
Okay.
And I just want you to imagine every boy had a stick, and all of us used to play hockey on the streets. It's now when I think of it, that sport has vanished from India.
Yes, sir.
Most schools don't play it, and that culture is gone. So for me, it's just the idea of course, we played cricket and football as well, but one of my childhood memories, which many people can't imagine, that you actually can play hockey on the streets.
We do play hockey in our school.
But not on the streets, like
Not
everybody
in
does
streets.
gully cricket.
Yes.
No, what I mean is it was so popular that of course you played in schools. I played for the state.
Oh.
But I'm just saying that it was so popular that even kids on the streets would play hockey in Bangalore. And that culture has changed.
Yes.
So that's something that I really remember about sport in my growing up days.
Yes, sir. Okay, so now, sir, we all know that you are an expert filmmaker, a profound one. So, what my question to you would be that we have a very typical education system in our school where teacher enter the classroom, they open the books, ask the students to do the same, and they're just reading the chapters, making them explaining, right? But what you do is something different. You are linking your life skills to education. So my question to you would be that what do you think is more important? What the school is teaching, which is just education and typically reading the chapter, solving questions and all, or what we really need, that is life lessons that we could get through movies which you are making and are helping us to know about what emotions mean, what life skills are. So what do you think your perspective on this particular topic is?
Okay, answer one question for me. Have you watched any of my? Have you been
Sir,
a part of the
yes,
school
sir,
cinema program?
Of course.
Can you tell me which film? Can you name one film? and
Yes,
the
sir.
topic?
I have watched Ayopaji. I have
Ayopaji.
watched Mooch. I have also watched Supergirl, Kulfi, and a lot more movies. Like, because it was a part of our syllabus. Like, we
So pick
used
up
to.
one film out of that.
Anyone?
Let's take. Which film do you want to pick up
Sir,
out of the names that you mentioned now?
Autograph. I
Autograph.
guess. Yes, sir.
So what do you remember about
So,
Autograph?
Autograph was one of the story that I have watched, but of a film that I have watched in class 6 to 7, I guess. So, there was a boy, I guess his name was Ajay or something, I'm not very much confirmed. So, he was a huge fan of one of the celeb, who was a singer, who was a rock star. So, he just loved him, he admired him a lot, and what he literally did was once he met him, he met the rock star. And of course, he
He got his
signed
autograph and he didn't want to rub off his hand.
Yes, sir. He didn't want to do so.
What did you get out of the film?
So we think, what I do think is that we got to learn that the
What
obsession.
did you get to learn?
So I got to learn that there should not be anything which could be called an obsession. Of course. So
and you watched this
any
film how
person-
long back?
So I guess
2 years ago?
2 years almost.
3 years ago?
Yes,
Yeah,
but
2
this
years
was my favorite one, so I picked up this one because it also had a song. So I just
Do you know
loved
you just answered the question you asked me?
Oh, I did. Yes, I did.
So, what is the purpose of learning? The purpose of learning is that when a person goes through a class, a lesson, a chapter, that you understand it. You learn something out of it which becomes a part of you. Otherwise, it's just knowledge. What do you do with knowledge in today's world? With the amount of generative AI, which is ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google's, and all of that, there's enough knowledge. What is required is that we understand what we are learning.
Yes.
And there are many different ways of making education more understandable, relevant, and fun. I think the biggest life lessons you learn are not inside the classroom normally.
Yes, sir.
Right? So when a child participates in any extracurricular activity, like for example, you're sitting here and you're hosting a podcast as a student of grade 9, the national education policy says बच्चों को life skills सिखाना है. What are you learning? You're learning preparation, right? Now that is called as self-awareness. That you know what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. You're putting in questions that you've made. I can see with that script of yours. That's creativity, right? Now, if for example there's a problem with the mic or the speaker is late or the power goes off, what you're going to do is called critical thinking.
Yes, sir.
So because you're not sitting in a classroom but you're sitting here, you're learning a lot of life skills.
Yes, sir. Of course.
So for me, there are different ways of teaching, and one beautiful way which the whole world loves is films. Nobody does it.
Yes.
So what's unique about me? I don't know if I'm a great filmmaker.
Of course
but one
you
thing
are.
that I know is the fact that not many people make children's films and not many people make meaningful children's films.
Yes.
So it's very ironic and very sad. It's a sad reality of our country. We're the world's largest children's population. We are definitely. We are the world's largest population. In every segment, we are the largest.
Exactly.
So even with children, we're the largest. And we're also the world's largest filmmaking country. But a question to both of you, if I ask you, can you name 10 films that were made for children in the past 10 years that were good? You will struggle.
The last movie that we mostly remember comes to be Tare Zameen Par.
But that is
way long.
Yeah, it was a nice film.
We did get.
But then again, if I ask you the
after
second
that,
question, do you think Tare Zameen Par was more relevant for children? Or
no,
for
sir, not at
adults?
all. It was for adults more, and it was like I would say what my understanding is that it was mostly on a special issue that was being highlighted.
Yes.
That is the problem. That we are not making good content or films for children enough. And on the other hand, the medium is so powerful that I use it to talk about topics which dining table conversation should have happened. Dada Nani should have spoken to us. Neighboring uncle, that very serious or very wise uncle would have told me when I was growing up. These are the kind of topics nobody's talking to you about. For example, how do you respect old age? कौन सिखाता है? कौन सा subject सिखाता है?
कोई नहीं सर.
How do you take care of somebody who is being bullied? What should you do when you see somebody getting bullied?
We should try to get him out.
I don't
of
know,
the
but
trouble.
I'm just saying that which chapter, which subject has that topic?
Like
Right.
you are pointing out
So-
that we don't have a clear answer to that. Nobody has
No.
told us that.
The purpose of my films are not to give you answers.
Okay.
The purpose is to at least appreciate that those issues are important and you need to be aware of them. Right? Because the moment you tell a child, like she's in grade 9, you tell her what to do, she'll do exactly the opposite. Right? So it's very important that we show them that these are realities and let them figure out their ways of doing it. So we have to bring issues, we have to bring in topics into the classroom, and that's what I do through my films.
Yes, sir.
I think people like you appreciating my work and schools like Dalimss using my program is the testimony to my success, and I'm glad it's working, but it was tough starting off.
Sir, if you'd say that we come, our generation may have seen schools and everything, but if we talk about the education system that has existed for so long, starting from Gurukuls, where the students were sent to a certain guru, he would take care of them and then he would teach them all the life lessons, and that was more of practical. If we talk about like somebody has to learn how to use a sword or a bow and arrow, they would do it practically and learn. Do you think that practical learning has somewhat taken a downside in the present education system?
Oh, definitely, yes.
And that's why, as you mentioned, that your purpose is to make them think that there are some relevant issues that needs to be discussed.
So let me just look at it from my point of view and explain to you. There is life.
Exactly.
And there is livelihood, which is a job.
Yes.
Now, is life a part of livelihood or livelihood a part of life?
Livelihood a part of life.
Correct. So livelihood is a small part of life. So along with livelihood, there is family, there is friends, there is society, there is me. There are multiple other things as a part of my life. But our education system only focuses on livelihood. And we've forgotten that there is a life that we have to live.
Yes.
Right? So the Gurukul system was a lot about how do you prepare an individual to grow up and be able to live in a society and not just live, thrive or excel in a society in all aspects, right? From archery to cooking to cleaning and making my bed to reading the Shastras or the memorizing, the old history and medicine. So everything was a part of learning in school. But over a period of time, we kept life and said, parents, you take care of life. We are school, we will take care of livelihood and marks, degrees, certificates.
Exactly.
So schools today, predominantly in their mind, education system is all about how do I give a certificate to our children so that somebody will give them an interview. The certificate doesn't guarantee a job.
Exactly, sir.
It only guarantees you an interview. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So I think what you said is yes, old values and systems, not just Gurukuls, even old homes. Even when I was growing up, I remember a lot of time my Nana ji would give me a lot of nasihat. हमारे उर्दू में उसको नसीहत कहते हैं कि बिठा के बात करते थे. And मजाल की कोई उनके सामने बोल दे.
Exactly.
That is dead. Today's Nana jis and Dada jis have become play buddies. And I think it's not cool. I'm an expert in psychosocial development of children, and a lot of times parents ask me this question that how old are you? You're 13, 14, 13
Yes,
now.
14.
Yeah, 13, 14. They think at her age the mother has to become her friend. And the father thinks the moment the child becomes a teenager, you have to become friend. I'm like, भाई इसको बहुत सारे दोस्त मिल जाएंगे. माँ एक ही है.
Exactly.
बाप एक ही है. अगर वो भी दोस्त बन गए तो माँ बाप का रोल कौन निभाएगा?
But sir, don't you think that आजकल जो जितने भी लोग जो एक्सपर्ट्स आ रहे हैं, they are also saying the same thing कि पेरेंट्स को दोस्त बन जाना चाहिए, बच्चा शेयर किससे करेगा, with all the mental health वाले जो questions आ रहे हैं, there it is somewhat कि
I think there's a problem with today that we have very shallow, very inexperienced. Google को सर्च करके अपना टॉपिक बना लेते हैं और 4 क्वेश्चन बना के अपना ज्ञान बांट लेते हैं. I genuinely believe that a lot of influencers today are very shallow, and so it is important that people like you identify the right experts and bring the right knowledge. Since the topic is there, I am convinced उसको बहुत सारे दोस्त मिल जाएंगे. You don't have to become a friend. Friendly और friend में बहुत फर्क होता है.
Exactly.
Yeah, maintaining a friendly relationship with your child is a very important thing. But don't become a friend that you forget that you have a role itself.
So as we were discussing, there is a thin line between being a friend and being friendly.
Right.
Now, as I also mentioned, as you mentioned that we had grandparents who used to teach us Panchtantra ki stories. They are learning itself. We don't find those people now in our life because we have moved to nuclear families, from joint families to nuclear families, and from nuclear families to both the parents working. How do you see this, and where do you see the role of your films in these kind of scenarios?
Yeah, I think what is happening up is a lot of young people today are growing up being very lonely. In fact, there's an extension to that. So while you are sitting in a classroom, you're probably, with a whole bunch of 30, 40 students, but the communication is much lesser now.
Mm-hmm.
Even you find what they call as play dates today. You'll have 3, 4 boys, a girl sitting together, and they're still all of them in their screens. So that human touch, that human interaction has become very less. It's not just about messages and stories that you needed to learn. I think we're missing out that human connect. So emotional development becomes a big challenge with our young generation. Film is a very emotional, medium. It's one of the closest after humans, I think, which can bring in emotions and explain to you in a very beautiful way. So I'm trying to use that medium not as a replacement for the human connect, but as a at least beach mein to kuch ho.
Oh, exactly.
Yes.
Right. So that is the idea, and I think what really works for me is one, the medium is so powerful and beautiful that everybody loves it, and on the other hand, we've made films with a lot of heart and with a lot of planning, so people relate to it well.
And sir, what pushed you to do this? Like, this is a different job altogether, a career option. Choosing this, I guess.
Do you know what I studied?
What did you, sir?
Take a wild guess.
I have no idea, but I would take a guess. If you went into film, you must have studied something related to that.
I'm a chemical engineer.
Oh,
It's
God.
two very different things and opposite side of the coins.
Yeah, it is. No, I think if you ask me first, I'm a teacher. I teach. The only difference is that I don't go to a school and teach in a school,
Okay.
but I go to schools all over and teach.
Yes.
I don't teach a subject, but I teach about life. I do that because I come from a background which is very media related. I run a company called Crayon, which is my biggest work to date, not School Cinema actually, because I created the Spelling Bee in India, the Pogo Amazing Kids Awards, the Horlicks Biscuits, the Dell Champs. So most of my life I've done these large events on television and live events for students because my belief was that's the best way to teach. Right. The other thing was that I was doing a lot of life skills workshops and life skills for students and teachers. I was finding a replacement for the life skills teacher because teachers बनाना बहुत मुश्किल था.
Yes.
English language और maths के teacher नहीं मिल रहे थे. तो ये life skills के teacher कहाँ से लाओ? So it was a big challenge. So I said, can I get something where I don't have to send a teacher to a school or a facilitator or a trainer, but still talks to the children and communicates my thoughts and my thing, and that's how I made films. So that's how the
very
idea came
interesting
about.
story.
So I do work in education. I do a lot of different things. I run a Mentor magazine. I'm now the chairperson of the Association for International Schools. So I do many things, but they're all related to education. And this idea came about because I've always been looking for what's next. I will actually tell you what I'm doing next also.
Yes, please. We are more than interested to know that.
So starting,
Okay, now moving to the very next question. What I would like to ask you is that every time we do introduce you to people, or I guess even you do introduce you to people, you use a word chief learner. So, what is the specific meaning of chief learner and what all you have learned, especially after your school life? So, what would you like to say?
that's the biggest problem with how people look at education from my point of view. Because when I was growing up, people told me some things which are not right, which are wrong. My mother told me that once you finish your education, your life is settled. It's a big lie.
Of course.
There were two lies in that your life is settled and then you finish your education.
Education.
So education also doesn't finish. So if you ask me, the past 2 decades have been a journey, it's been a journey of learning. And I do my learning in 2 different parts that I call it. One is formal and the other one's informal. So my formal learning, I've studied at the world's best college. I studied at MIT in Boston. I studied at University of Westminster in England. I've studied in 4 countries. I've taught in 18 countries. So I've been very formally doing a lot of things. I've done hypnosis, hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, neuro-linguistic programming. I've done a lot of professional development, but I've not learned anything in all of those as much as I learned in my informal learning. And my biggest informal learning comes from my travels. I travel a lot. As of now, I've done 73 countries.
73 countries.
Yes.
Oh,
And,
God.
I do horse riding. I'm a avid biker. I ride a Harley Davidson. So I do very long distance bike rides. All of this teaches me more than any of the courses have. My bike rides, for example, when you're riding a bike,
Exactly. So.
you're in nature, right? आपकी हाली होगी, लेकिन अगर बारिश आ रहा है तो आपको लगेगा, आपको धूप आ रही है बाहर तो लगेगा. You're not sitting inside a car, right? So, and खाना कहाँ खाओगे, ये तो प्लान नहीं कर सकते आप.
Not at all.
Right? So, जहाँ पे मिल गया, अभी प्यास लगी है तो आपको चाय पीनी है तो कहीं पे भी टपरी में रोक लिए. So you could, so it just gets you connected to life, and you see how, for me, those things, right, have taught me. My theater, my radio career, they've taught me a lot more. So a lot of people think that getting degrees, I do it because people, when they read out my profile, it sounds good, but I don't learn much. What I learn is from meeting people, through travels, through doing those experiences. So that's the reason why I think my life is about learning all the time. So I use the title Chief Learner, because if I'm not learning, how am I supporting learning for others like you?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So filmmaking, like, I guess after your work, after seeing your work, and there are also many more film producers. So after looking at filmmakers these days in India or in foreign countries, the students are also into making films.
Yes.
I feel that people are also interested in doing the work. And after listening it all, even I feel fascinated towards it. So I guess our viewers are too. So what would be your one advice for these filmmakers, for upcoming filmmakers who are interested in this?
So I'm going to give an advice. I wouldn't use the word advice. My thoughts about all students and the ones who are interested in making films. All students should make content. See, I believe today that in a world where reading and writing was considered as literacy, it's incomplete literacy. Because आपको सिर्फ पढ़ना लिखना आता है, तो वो दुनिया थी जो सिर्फ किताबों में सीमित थी. Today's world creates and consumes more visual content. इतना सारा वीडियो कंटेंट हम बनाते हैं. तो ये विजुअल दुनिया में creating good visual content is also basic of literacy. So this is for everybody. Now the ones who are interested in making, right? I think it's important to remember that everybody who writes is not necessarily a lekhak.
Yes.
Right? So everybody who just write, just because you know how to write a letter, you can't become like an author, right? So similarly, it is important that how do you elevate your basic skill? कि वीडियो आप ले सकते हो, कोई भी ले सकता है, but story कैसे बताएं?
Yes.
How do you narrate this? And today there are so many different forms, whether it is documentaries and podcasts and live actions and animation. There's so many different ways of telling your story. And there's no end to this art. Art है.
Of course.
Right? जितना शुरुआत कर सकते हो, but उसके बाद it's a lifelong journey. There's a lot of learning that needs to happen, technical things that you need to learn, right? But there's a big change today that's happened. कि in the past था कि एक क्वालिफिकेशन थी और एक प्रोसेस था जिसमें आप कंटेंट बना सकते थे. सो यू हैड टू वर्क फॉर अ टीवी चैनल और प्रोडक्शन हाउस, एंड देन जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का था उनका हेडिंग था. बट टुडे यू हैव टू डू बोथ. सो ओनली इफ यू आर अ गुड कंटेंट क्रिएटर, big deal if nobody is watching your content.
Yes, sir.
Right? So you also need to learn the game of distribution, which changes by the day, by the week. So I think it's really important that today's generation of children understand that creating films and visual storytelling is a great art and everybody should learn it. But along with it, पहले था कि how do I speak well?
Yes.
Right?
True.
तो लिखना, it was not just enough I wrote, but एक अच्छा शायर वो होता है जो शायरी पेश कर सके,
उसको प्रेजेंट कर सके.
Correct?
Exactly.
So similarly today, if you're a good filmmaker, short filmmaker, animation, distribution, documentary, whatever, how do you distribute it? So understanding audience is there. I think this is where you need to, and there's no such thing as right or wrong. There's no one formula. What works, I don't know. You figure out what works for you.
I will definitely. Yes.
And sir, I would like to know any specific story that you have that has touched you, and you think that whatever the work that you have been doing so far has literally helped some people. Like if you could narrate a story or an incident that.
So unfortunately, we live in a country where today we are finding newer and newer ways to segregate people. Because the more you divide people, the more it's easier to work with, right? Because if they're all together and it's a massive 1 billion country, so you have to keep dividing them. So we keep using language and religion, and we use multiple ways of dividing people. Right? So this is a very old one. It's almost now 7 years ago that I had this incident because I come from a Muslim background. My name is Sultan Ahmed, and I grew up in a city where even today we've never differentiated between anybody. But unfortunately today you get differentiated for coming from a particular religion. So I was in this convent school in Gujarat where apparently there were 2,000 children, and that entire school there was just one Muslim kid, one. Now I mean, so he was always treated separately, right? He was always segregated by his classmates. So that's what the teacher told. That they watched a film, right? So which is one of the films which is about apples and oranges, which says that everyone's.
Yes, I have seen that one.
Yeah. So everyone has differences, right? So you can't take that. And apparently the teacher told me that after that I've started noticing that the other friends, the other kids in the classroom are a lot more appreciative and encouraging. And those are subtle changes which is very, very powerful for me.
Exactly, sir. And it is giving us goosebumps to me, especially when I'm listening to this, because it is I believe that we are a country that has fought other forces united.
Yes.
And we need to fight that together, because we're not going to win it without that togetherness.
If I can't take care of my own,
Exactly, sir.
what kind of a leader will I become? Right. So I think it's really important that, and this is not just about religion, it's even about economic disparity. See, if you think about India's biggest problem today is not religion, it's the fact that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And I genuinely worry about that. If you ask me, as a Muslim, am I worried more about the religious bias? No, I said I'm more worried about the economic bias. Because today at my economic strata, people are not worried whether you're Hindi Muslim.
Exactly, sir.
If you're at a certain strata, you relate at that strata.
Exactly, sir. Very true.
Right. So I think these are some of the differences that we need to really highlight as a country, and I think my work does that really well, and it's a good way of doing it.
Definitely, sir, it is. And if that brings change, I guess nobody is more prouder than the one who has started it.
Yes, absolutely. One of the most difficult things to do is to bring about change, and I also learned something very interesting. If everybody becomes change maker, badlega kaun?
Badlega kaun, exactly.
So you just need that one person, you just need that one project or one effort or a few in a country of 1 billion. So I genuinely believe that my idea of bringing film into a school is that new thing that India is giving the world, because it's not a new idea for India, it's a new idea for the world.
Exactly.
Most countries, no country uses film like the way we do in school cinema. So in fact, I have a delegation that's come all the way from Russia just to learn how we do it in India, how your school does it.
Yes.
Because they want to go back and replicate it. So I'm teaching a lot of countries now, Serbia, South Korea, Egypt. There are 4 or 5 countries that I'm working with them, teaching them how to use film in education.
So my last question would be, we are here in Varanasi. This is one of the oldest living city. How do you see this city through your lenses?
I've had the privilege I think I'm quite blessed. I haven't just traveled a lot of the world, I've traveled a lot of India. Everything I studied in my ICSE 10th grade textbook in history, I've been there, including Varanasi and Sarnath next door to, everything, the Kashi to Kedarnath to Madurai Meenakshi to, I'm one of those lucky guys who's actually seen, Vatican.
How?
I've seen Mecca. I've seen the Golden Temple. I've seen, all the big religions. I've been to, Jerusalem. So I've been to all the holy places. By the way, do you know there's a place called as Vaishali?
Yes, we do, but I'm not very sure.
Bodh Gaya is very famous.
Yes,
Bodh Gaya,
sir.
Vaishali, exactly.
For Lord Buddha's enlightenment.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Vaishali was where Lord Mahavira was.
Yeah, exactly, sir.
And not many people go there. So I've been there. So I know a lot about this beautiful city. I think what is amazing about this city, which still remains, just yesterday evening, I was at the Ghats and on the Ganges, Gangama, where it's there. That's not changed. And I hope we don't change it.
We definitely
Right? We
hope
just
that.
hope. But your city has changed. See, one of the problems with India is that when you drive through a city, it looks like ये तो शहर पिछले 10 साल में बना था, क्योंकि सारे बिल्डिंग नए लगते हैं. हमारे यहाँ डेवलपमेंट का मतलब ये है कि पुरानी इमारत को आप
गिरा
दो और कुछ वो एक भद्दा सा कोई मकान बना दो वहाँ पे, या फिर उस पे ग्लास लगा दो, उसको हम कहते हैं मॉडर्नाइजेशन को, एक ग्लास बिल्डिंग बना दो या 4.
That is what we think is development.
But if you, I have learned a lot from Europe. If you go, especially Europe, पुराने शहर 400, 500, 600 साल पुराने बिल्डिंग्स, उनको वैसे ही रखा हुआ है. उसका फसाद आप छू नहीं सकते, लेकिन उसके अंदर एसी भी है, वाईफाई भी है, all the modern amenities are there. But उसको the blending of the two, I think what Varanasi, I hope for Varanasi is that we're able to retain उसका जो essence और core है. Which is music. It's not just about the Ganga, right? It is about Varanasi's music. It's Varanasi's, and a lot of musicians were from Muslim gharanas to. There was cultural amalgamation,
which we come to know as Banaras
There is
Gharana.
food. So again, the food over here. So I think this is what Varanasi, and it still has it.
It does.
Compared to any other city, I think Varanasi still has its culture very strong, and that's what I love about Varanasi. And I hope it remains that way and doesn't become like a city like Mumbai or Bangalore, where we've forgotten who we are.
Yes, sir. Very true.
Okay, so now shifting to our viewers. So this was a very synergistic podcast with Sir, and we all just love listening to you, Sir. Your experiences, everything you taught us. You just spoke, but I literally learned it all. Your bike rides, your countries that you have traveled, what you see about Varanasi, everything has filled me with a lot of knowledge right now. And also, I guess, to our viewers who have listened to you, and it was just a synergistic session. Thank you so much for your time, Sir. Thank you to our viewers who were with us.
And you've been a wonderful host. And thank you for doing such a lovely podcast.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It was enlightening for us.